Right now at 10, benches are being removed from two downtown Janesville parks. We'll hear from police on what's behind that decision. And an embattled beagle breeder will not be charged. How a new agreement is impacting Ridgeland Farms' operation. Plus, the Packers are putting a lot of focus on tight end Tucker Kraft. Our Jason Wilde tells us how the team is dealing with players who think they should be in the spotlight. And it's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke. Sarah will be back tomorrow. Well, first tonight at 10, Janesville police uninstalled tables and benches from select parks downtown, leading to some public concern for unhoused people who use the parks as shelter. Now the city's police chief sits down with our Maddie Heimsch to explain the intent behind that move.
These empty concrete squares are what's left at two parks in downtown Janesville after the city's police department made the move to remove picnic tables and benches from the public areas.
We can't keep them down there. Publicly, individuals are feeling unsafe. We needed to remove that feeling from them.
According to the Janesville Police Department, officers have responded to more than 1,000 incidents within the immediate downtown area in the past 10 months, which is where firemen and volunteer parks are located, and where police say one group of individuals repeatedly causes disturbances.
What we were dealing with down there was antisocial behavior, disorderly conduct type issues. There was some drug abuse that we were able to confirm was occurring, and there was a lot of really heavy and aggressive panhandling.
Some Janesville residents shared concerns on social media that the move targets those struggling with housing insecurity. But Chief Chad Pearson,
that's the farthest from the truth,
says that's not the case.
This is not an action to say that the homeless people are involved in criminal activity. That's a false stereotype.
He says the move is a form of crime prevention by environmental design, targeted at a specific group.
Rather than starting to criminalize individuals that were using the park benches or sitting at this table because of these behaviors that they were becoming involved in, taking them out and allowing a reset in time was what we elected to do.
Chief Pearson tells me the department hopes to put the tables and benches back by the spring. Reporting in downtown Janesville, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Ridgeland Farms is set to close the beagle breeding portion of its facility. The move comes after a year-long investigation into animal cruelty and abuse allegations against the embattled Blue Mounds breeder. The special prosecutor behind the investigation agreed not to press any charges if the facility closed. Now, the research portion at Ridgeland Farms is not part of this agreement.
They'll continue to be able to experiment on dogs. That's untouched by this. That was untouched by the special prosecutor appointment. I do also want to clarify that the agreement doesn't require Ridgeland to surrender its dogs. In fact, it gives them time to be able to sell those dogs for the next 8 months and get rid of them that way. We certainly hope that isn't the case.
Ridgeland will work on closing the breeding facility over the next 8 months. According to the animal activist Legal Defense Project, it is the second largest breeder of beagles for experimentation to close in less than 5 years. New information tonight about a Sun Prairie murder from a year ago this month. News 3 Now's Marin Rosen gets an update from Sun Prairie Police as an arrest is made in the October 24 killing of a Brookfield man.
Earlier today, Sun Prairie Police announced that they've arrested a suspect in connection to a 1-year-old cold case. A shooting last October left one dead and one injured near the intersection of Martin and Elm Street. 22-year-old Zachary O'Connell was taken into custody around 6 o'clock this morning for 1 count of first-degree intentional homicide and 2 counts of recklessly endangering safety.
We did everything we possibly can to make sure that we provided closure not only to the victim's family of this horrific and tragic shooting in our city, but to all the people that live in that neighborhood.
Sun Prairie Police say they are still looking for a possible motive. Reporting in Sun Prairie, I'm Marin Rosen, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Marin. And O'Connell is currently booked in the Dane County Jail, and the vehicle of interest in the case is also in police possession. An arraignment date set for a Janesville teacher accused of child sex crimes. Adam Teal is scheduled to be arraigned November 13th. Police say in September, Teal shared a nude photo of his wife with an undercover Homeland Security agent and told the agent he had child sexual abuse materials. Investigators later seized his phone. They say a forensic download flagged over 4,000 items as possible possible child sexual abuse materials. Now to our forecast, some showers earlier in the viewing area. Alex, what's on radar now? Anything out there?
We do still have some showers out there, Eric. Right now, the community of Belmont seeing some rain right now along Dubuque Road, County Road G, right intersecting with North Mound Avenue. This is just south and east of 151 in southwest Wisconsin. And going off a little bit further to the west, Platteville, Pioneer Stadium still getting some raindrops. So these are the areas that have been seeing raindrops really for a good part of the evening as we widen things out to give a full perspective of southern Wisconsin. Anything south and west of Dodgeville, Lone Rock, over towards the Fayette area. It's really Grant County, the far southwest part of Iowa County, and parts of Lafayette County that have seen a bit of rain. Rainfall estimates maybe upwards of 0.3 of an inch, 0.2 just south of 18151, and maybe around 0.3 just west of the Fenimore area. I know it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but every raindrop counts when we are dealing with very dry conditions across all of southern Wisconsin. Will these rain showers make their way off to the east eventually, reaching the Madison area a little bit later in the newscast? I'll let you know just how far north and east those showers are going to get. And the very latest on Hurricane Melissa, there have been some developments that the First Warn Weather Team will like to share in a little bit.
All right, Alex, thank you. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul joining a lawsuit that would help get people the food they need during the government shutdown. Now, according to this lawsuit, $6 billion in contingency funds are available for the USDA to use. Despite that, the department told states there wouldn't be enough money to fully fund SNAP benefits next month if the shutdown continues. Kaul says the USDA argument is inconsistent with a position it took just earlier this month.
We cannot allow Wisconsinites to lose access to food share benefits when there are resources in place that can be used to keep this program running. This would, by the way, not only have serious implications for folks who rely on SNAP to buy food, but would also put a significant burden on communities, including food banks and food pantries.
Lawmakers are asking a judge for a temporary restraining order to resume November payments. And amid this SNAP funding uncertainty, Second Harvest Food Bank and SSM Health teamed up to fight food insecurity in Madison this evening. The Food Share event focused on offering fresh produce to Southside residents who may have a tougher time getting those specific items in the area. They were able to choose from an array of locally grown produce.
When we first started advertising this and sending it out to the neighborhood and to our community partners and area schools, it was overwhelmingly positive that we were doing this and bringing it out to people and not making it easy to access food. Since we started the event tonight, we had some people in line waiting for us to open, which was really awesome to see, actually, and also really devastating that people are waiting because there's lack of access out there.
And the rest of the produce will now be moved to the Triangle neighborhood along West Wash at Park Street to help residents in that area. Halloween just days away, and if you haven't stocked up on your candy, you might be in for a fright at the checkout lane with high cocoa prices. Every producer, from specialty chocolate makers to the candy giants, are changing up how they sell their treats. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups saw an 8% increase in price compared to 2024. Hershey's variety packs, 22%. Mars variety packs, 12% higher. Last year, Americans shelled out $7.4 billion in Halloween chocolate and candy sales. Experts are predicting that sales will grow by 3% this year. SSM Health reminding families to stay safe while trick-or-treating. Doctors say pumpkin carving is actually the most common cause for injuries due to sharp tools creating cuts and lacerations. But another common accident on Halloween night is tripping or falling while trick-or-treating due to maybe electric wires in someone's yard or simply trying to jump curbs in the darkness.
Very tempting to want to just run across a yard to get to the next person's house, right? Moving faster means more candy. So we recommend that people use driveways and sidewalks where you're less likely to encounter power lines going to, the inflatable lawn decorations people have or any lights in general.
And here's a newer issue. Doctors add that e-scooter injuries are on the rise. So if you or your child decide to ride around on Halloween night, medical experts recommend wearing a helmet, even if it is not part of the costume. A local drummer touting the importance of an important life-saving device after suffering sudden cardiac arrest while performing at the live music venue Gamma Ray in downtown Madison. Rocker says he was playing some Black Sabbath when he suffered his heart attack. It was an automatic external defibrillator, an AED, that brought him back to life. And now he hopes his story encourages more small businesses to have those devices on hand because they save lives.
There are so many resources, especially from the Madison Fire Department, They even now have a program where they loan them out, almost like library books for events. I've learned that survival is a very low percentage. And the only thing that makes it happen is CPR and an AED being close. And I don't think that people necessarily really take that, but you only have 7 minutes before really things go south if you don't get a shock.
And with help from UW Health doctors, Rocker is back on stage. He continues to share his story to raise awareness about the importance of rapid emergency response. For the Green Bay Packers, tight end Tucker Kraft has been an important part of their offense. And as News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde tells us, that's not going to change anytime soon.
There's no question that right now Packers tight end Tucker Kraft is the focal point of the Packers offense. In the last 2 weeks, he's been targeted 19 times. Against the Steelers in Sunday night's 35-25 win, he set career highs for receptions with 7 and for yards with 143. He scored 2 touchdowns. No one can argue that he needs to get the ball more, and Matt LaFleur plans on getting him the ball more. But it made me wonder how in a league full of guys with egos that need to get their own opportunities, how Matt LaFleur handles when maybe some guys are getting those chances and other guys are frustrated that they're not, even though the team is winning. Here's how Matt LaFleur responded.
Yeah, I think every situation is a little bit different in regards. If you can feel it and you know something's going on, then you absolutely, I mean, you're not going to run away from potential problems. You're going to attack it head on. At least that's how we operate, and that's how I'll continue to operate here. But yeah, and I know it can be frustrating for these guys. Look how far Tuck's come. I mean, what did it take him, like 8 games before he got his first reception his rookie year? So you just never know within the process. That's why you just got to keep working and try to do your job.
Now, there's an old saying in the NFL that winning cures everything. I'm not sure that's always true, but Matt LaFleur believes he's got the right guys in his locker room, that even if there's some frustration about opportunities, they will handle it in a healthy way. We'll have full coverage of everything Packers leading in to Packers-Panthers on Sunday here at Lambeau Field on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our newsletter, which delivers our coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
All eyes on Tucker Kraft and the Packers offense this Sunday. As Jason mentioned, they're hosting the Carolina Panthers at Lambeau Field. That kickoff, by the way, set for noon. Still to come at 10, the Senate fails once again to reopen the federal government, and Hurricane Melissa pushing past Jamaica, the damage left in its wake as it now heads towards Cuba. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Today, the Senate failed for a 13th time to advance a funding bill to reopen the federal government. Democrats are holding out for those extensions to health care subsidies. Vice President J.D. Vance joined Senate Republicans for lunch at the Capitol, and afterwards, Senate Majority Leader John Thune told reporters the right approach to pay for federal workers and programs like SNAP is to just reopen the government. The strongest storm of 2025 lashing the Caribbean at this hour. Hurricane Melissa made landfall earlier today in Jamaica as a deadly Category 5 storm. Since that time, it weakened to a Cat 3, and now it's a Cat 4. I just talked to Alex about that, but not before it plowed through the island of Jamaica with high winds and heavy rains. Sherelle Hubbard has more.
This is the first Category 5 hurricane to hit Jamaica.
The reports that we have had so far would include damage to hospitals, significant damage to residential property, housing, and commercial property as well.
With powerful winds and heavy rain battering the island, the risk of storm surge and catastrophic flash flooding a real danger.
There will be flooding and there will be infrastructure damage. We have 70% of our population living within 5 kilometers of the sea in generally low-lying areas, so the risk of flood is extreme.
Residents and tourists alike riding out the storm Tuesday.
The wind that I've experienced, I've never heard or felt anything like that in my life.
It's really overwhelming.
They told everyone to pack in an emergency bag so that we will have that in all our important documents.
A hurricane hunter's view of the storm's eye on Monday, but Tuesday, that eye moved squarely over western Jamaica about 3 hours after it made landfall.
This is an extremely dangerous, life-threatening situation. Take cover now. Do not go out in the eye as it passes your area.
The National Hurricane Center warned of the potential for, quote, total structural failure.
Widespread infrastructure damage, communications loss, power loss in isolated communities, and along the southern coast, life-threatening storm surge.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Alex, of course, keeping an eye on our forecast, but also Hurricane Melissa and Alex just back up to a 4, right? And we really don't want it to be a 5 before it hits Cuba.
No, yes, it's just recently upgraded back to a Category 4. Rapid strengthening occurring between Jamaica and Cuba. This is literally, Melissa's going over bathwater. And what is going on here is we've seen an explosion of thunderstorm activity. We've seen the redevelopment of a very clear concentric eye, and all this bright pink that you see here are thunderstorms that are blowing up and then getting drawn around the circulation. And when you see that real tight eye, that's akin to a figure skater pulling their arms in, and then that is a sign of the storm strengthening. Hopefully here that the outer bands of Melissa will start to get impact with Cuba here. We don't want it to hit Cuba, but the impact will start to tear the storm apart. We don't want it to get any stronger, but again, just seeing significant rapid strengthening of Melissa as we speak here, now back up to a Category 4 storm. Thoughts are with Cuba and with Jamaica. We've got nothing like that going on, of course, in southern Wisconsin, tracking just a few showers off to the west in Grant County, south and west of Dodgeville. Lafayette County has had some showers over the course of this evening. This is a weather system that's going to slip more towards the south here as you put future trek into motion. By midnight or so, those showers eyeing up Platteville, Prairie du Chien, and then they sink off to the south and towards the west. They're out of here by 2 in the morning. This very stark clearing line moves through. We get sunshine to build back in as we move into Wednesday. Strong northeast winds. That's going to be the one not such great thing about Wednesday. Even though it'll be sunny, it's going to be windy. And the rainfall amounts estimated earlier, about 2/10, maybe 3/10 of an inch. This seems to be spot on with what Future Track is projecting, about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch over far southwest Wisconsin. Again, you take every drop of water you can get when we got abnormally dry conditions. Little weather system coming in on Halloween evening. We might get a sprinkle, maybe a shower at best. As we head into the weekend, we turn back time again here. The clock goes back an hour. Saturday night going on into Sunday. The game up at Lambeau Field. I think those showers are going to hold off for the most part for the game. So just a bit on the chilly side. We're going to go for highs around 50 here. They'll do the upper 40s in Green Bay, and high temperatures next week will be well into the 50s. That's where we should be for this time of year. And again, that Packers game, breaking it down, kickoff at 45, halftime at 47, and at the end of the game we'll be at 48 with just that tiny rain chance. And once, as I mentioned earlier, I'll bring up the attire. Take your green jacket.
Always green. Don't wear what is it, teal and black?
No, can't do that.
No, don't do that.
No.
I love it when Alex gives the fashion tips for Packers games based on weather. Hey, it's not just football season, basketball season underway, and they had a bad start last year, but the Bucks are playing well, and number 34 has a lot to do with it.
A whole lot to do with it. Anytime Giannis is on the floor, good things will happen. They played the Knicks tonight, and still to come in sports, enough with the rumors of Giannis wanting out of Milwaukee. The message he sent to the league. Next on News 3 Now. One of the many reasons that we love sports are the rivalries. They only come around every so often, so you cherish them. This week, though, is the exception. You could call it Rivalry Week for Wisconsin athletics. Starting on the ice, where the Wisconsin women play host to Minnesota. And in a border battle, you're always going to get the best from both sides.
You know, you look at these weekends, and it's not difficult not to get excited, so you get fired up, and it's been a rivalry for a long time, and as a coach, you enjoy being part of it. But I think from a player standpoint, you look for little things to get excited about. When you see Minnesota's on our schedule and we're playing at home, that's just in itself enough to get excited about.
But like I told you, there are a lot of rivalries this week. In fact, another border battle. The Badger men play Minnesota as well. And Wisconsin, they're undefeated this season and ready to get their get back against the Gophers, who won all 4 meetings last year.
Once you first step on that ice, you're like, oh, this is a different beast. So I'm just happy all of our freshmen are going to get to experience, and like our transfers too. It's a different type of feeling, and it's just a huge game going into it.
But if a pair of border battles for the Badgers weren't enough, we add maybe the biggest rivalry around. When Wisconsin hosts top-ranked Nebraska on Friday, they are two of the titans of the sport. Think Yankees, Red Sox, Alabama, Georgia, the best that you can possibly get. And you could say the Badgers are pretty fired up for this one.
I'm really excited for the competitive environment. I'm excited for the field house to be really, really loud and on our side. I mean, this is like the biggest game I'll ever play, so like I'm excited for it.
I'm so excited. So this will be my first time playing them too, like as a team, and I think that just any time we get to play in the field house is super exciting, and the fact that it's on Halloween weekend against a really good team, we're just pumped, and it'll be a fun environment to play in.
To the basketball floor, where John Blackwell was put on the Jerry West Award watch list given to the best shooting guard in college basketball annually. By the way, the Badgers host UW-Platteville tomorrow at the Kohl Center in an exhibition. Of course, we will have the highlights. And as promised, to Milwaukee, where the Bucks hosted the Knicks, two of the beasts in the East. Milwaukee trailing, but not for long. Giannis gets the block on one end and turns defense into offense, leading the charge in transition. Gary Trent Jr. can't finish, but Giannis, he can, with authority, followed up by saying, "This is my city." And if that doesn't get you fired up, I'm not quite sure what will. The Bucks win it 121-111. And we mentioned that border battle between Wisconsin women's hockey and Minnesota. On Friday, that game will air on our sister channel, Television Wisconsin, at 6 p.m. We'll be right back.
Finally, tonight, a Wauwatosa father is getting big praise for that Halloween costume. Now, it doesn't look that pretty, but it's very eco-friendly, inspired by the beloved Mama Rosa the Troll statue, a symbol of sustainability near Milwaukee. Elliot Lund spent 80 hours handcrafting a replica using all recycled materials that he got from Goodwill, old trees, and even just sentimental reminders. Elliot says it felt good to bring happiness to neighbors while celebrating all things Wauwatosa.
That's
kind of
awesome.
creative, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something else. All right, Alex, quick final check of the forecast.
Well, speaking of Halloween, as we head out to the end of the week, that's our next chance of rain, but it's a tiny chance. Just a few stray showers possible on Halloween, 52. And then the weekend overall is looking very October going into November-like.
I hope it's dry. We don't want ponchos over those costumes.
No, we don't.
Stephen Colbert coming up next. Our next newscast tomorrow morning at 4:30. You can always find us streaming 24/7 at Channel 3000+. Good night.